back to another Pilates YouTube Reformer workout. Today I've got for you my favorite Pilates Reformer workout. This class is just chock full of all sorts of Pilates staples that I really think should be included in your Pilates practice regularly. So say your weekly class. This class is going to be all levels. So I'll be giving out different levels of springs throughout the class so you can easily amp it up or lighten the load. So guys, today's class is a total body workout, and what I really think is important to include in your Pilates practices is the movements of the spine. That's really the foundation of Pilates. So you'll see twisting, side bending, articulation throughout this class. Otherwise, all you need is a pillow if you have a pillow, a block, or a ball. This is a no props class, but we need this for when we lay on our side. So you could roll up a towel too if you don't have this kind of thing at home. So here is the setup. We are starting with footwork. Headrest is up, and then I put all my springs on. I like the footwork heavier. If you don't like it that heavy, you simply start to reduce the springs. So take a couple springs off. So if you have the colored springs, I would start by taking off the yellow. If it's still too heavy, take off the yellow and the blue. If it's still too heavy, you could take off a yellow, a blue, and a red. So you would be left with 2 reds, which I think is pretty light for both legs on for footwork. But you know, test it out, and it's all about what works for you. The more you do this class, the more you work with the reformer, you'll find your sweet spot and you'll kind of know your spring settings for each of these series. But feel free to adjust as we go through it. If you need this specific exercise harder, I would add some springs on. Remember, you have a block, a pillow, or a ball for your head, but otherwise it's going to be a propless class, and we'll use that later. So guys, let's do this. We're gonna start with footwork. So we're bringing it down to the mat, and don't worry, we're gonna get a good workout, but let's lay down some fundamentals before we start moving. So we're laying down, we've got the head in the headrest, and let's talk about the spine. The spine is super important in Pilates. We typically use 2 kinds of spines. One is called imprint, and one is called neutral. So your neutral spine is the kind of spine that you want. It's the ideal shape in your back. You want your butt to be down, but then you want your lower back to be light. It's lifted off of the carriage. And then the next spot is your back ribs, and that's down. So butt down, little tunnel in your lower back, and then your ribs and your upper back touch the floor. That's our neutral position. That's what we're gonna use for footwork. Later, we're gonna use imprint. When you imprint your spine, you take your pelvis and you tuck it to you, your hip bones, you curl them to your chest. This is gonna press your lower back down. So no longer do you have an arch or a back bend here. Your lower back's heavy. It's grounded into the floor. Okay, so we'll use that one later, and I'll remind you how to get into it. So let's find neutral. I'm gonna move my tailbone, weight into my butt. So heavy butt, light low back. Abs are engaged. Ribs are down. We're gonna place our heels on the foot bar, hips distance parallel. And then I want you to make sure your toes point straight up, especially if you're a dancer and you like to just kind of hang out. Draw it into the midline, flex your feet. As you take an inhale, you're gonna keep your core tight and not let your spine move as we press the carriage all the way out, making sure your butt's heavy, your lower back has its natural arch, and your ribs are down. And then we're gonna inhale, bring it back in. Exhale to lengthen. Inhale to return. So as we're moving with footwork, one of the important things is the stability of your spine. So as we move through this class, what I would guide you into paying attention to, which may be a little bit different than you're used to, is think about the things that are not moving as well as the things that are moving, right? So right now in footwork, we would typically pay an extraordinary amount of attention to our legs, which of course, they're definitely working. But I want you to think about your spine a lot too, because just because it's not moving doesn't mean it's not being used. By maintaining a neutral spine, drawing the ribs and the core tight, that is gonna help warm us up for more intense exercises as we move through this class. And really the root of Pilates is something called the powerhouse. That's your center, that's your core. So even though it doesn't really look like my abs are working, like you can't see it per se, they are. My abs are tight right now. And if you're like, what does that mean? What does tight in your abs mean? It means that I'm trying to literally suck my stomach in That's the way to think about it. Or you can think of what it feels like when you cough or sneeze. And if you're really, this feels foreign to you, try to cough or sneeze right now. Or maybe not sneeze, because I don't know you can make that happen. But try to cough, like, what happens? You feel your stomach tighten. So you're creating that right now as we move through the footwork. Okay, so to continue to press in and out, you've got the spine down. I know you're nailing it. I want you to start thinking about the legs. So the muscle group that's gonna work a lot here in footwork are your thigh muscles, your quads. So as you send the carriage out, I want you to think of pulling your kneecap up the front of your leg. So we're gonna exhale, press out. Whoa, I just got locked in for some reason. Inhale to return. Okay, I'm squeezing my quads in both directions. So even when the carriage brings me back home, I'm not letting it just pull me in. If it were to be pulling me in, it might make a really loud sound like that and the springs are clinking. You don't want that. So as you move in and out, you're gonna stop the carriage before the springs are completely relaxed. There's always gonna be tension on those springs. Okay, we're gonna do one more. And you're gonna come halfway in. This is where it starts to get fun. So you're halfway in, and you're gonna give me small pulses. Putting a lot of tension in your quads. Good, if that feels kind of strange to you, put your hands on your thighs and try to think of squeezing your quads to the thigh bones that are really tight, just like we've got the abs. Okay, so as I'm pulsing my legs, it's not from a place of momentum, right? It's a place of control. So if there was momentum happening, my spine might be kind of like moving around. I might be like a little bit of jiggly. So we don't want that. We want to be really sturdy and strong in our midsection. Let's go for 8 more. We like the burn here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pressing it out and then bringing it in. So you're going to come down to your toes. So we're going to stay parallel hips distance. We slid to the ball of the foot. Lift the heels up and feel from your big toe to your pinky toe. They all have weight. You're going to press all the way out without the heels dipping and then come all the way back in. So this one's going to be teaching us something called ankle stability. So imagine you have your highest pair of stilettos on. If you don't wear stilettos, use your imagination. And you have to keep those heels up, right? So those heels are lifted. They're not going to drop down because you got a giant high heel shoe on. I'll show you what we don't want to happen here is if you press out by letting the heels drop under the bar. Okay, so really try to keep them up as you go out. One thing to be careful of as we work through the footwork is popping your knee joint. So I want the idea that the thighs, the knees are pulling up rather than your knee pushing down towards the floor like that. That's not going to be great for the knees. And actually footwork and strengthening the quads are really helpful for the knees. So really doing this right is going to be beneficial for strong, healthy knees. If you tend to hyperextend, my suggestion would be stopping about an inch before you think your legs are straight, right? So if you hyperextend, you're like that. So put a little bend in your knees and focus on squeezing your thighs. Squeeze the muscle rather than the joint. Big breath in. Deep breath out. Good, we have 4. And 3. For 2. Okay, last one. You're gonna send this machine all the way out. We're bringing it halfway in. Abs are tight. We've got our neutral spine. Keep the carriage still, and we're gonna lower and lift the heels. So now we're going to work a little bit of ankle mobility. Knee, hip stability. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. If your thighs are starting to talk to you, we're in the right spot. Keep it up. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, don't go anywhere, 2, stay with me. Heels are gonna go up. Now you're gonna pulse. Remember, nice and slow, in an inch, out an inch, tension in the thighs. Good, Good, we're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, we got it, for 3, 2, and 1. Press the machine all the way out, bring it all the way home. Okay, Pilates V, so you're gonna go onto your heels on the bar. Heels touch and feet are slightly apart. Now, if you're a dancer, let's not go so first position turn out. Bring it in a little bit, so knees in line with shoulders, not too wide. Press both the inside of your heel and your outside of your heel into the bar and squeeze the heels together. They're gonna stay connected as we press out and zip the inner thighs up, and then slowly bring it back in. So imagine you have a beach ball between your legs, and as you press out, you're trying to pop it. When your legs are straight, really press them into each other. Good, and then just check in on the form that the shoulders are soft, the collarbone is open, the front ribs are pushing down into our mid-back, the lower back has its little gap, and the butt is heavy. Good, let's go for 6, and 5, for 4, actively squeeze your heels together for 3, and 2, last one. Send the machine out, bring it halfway in. Now freeze the machine. Bring your legs into a parallel position. Squeeze your knees and the arches of your feet together, and then turn out. Squeeze in, turn out. Keeping the carriage still, we're in a static hold in the thighs, so we've got some isometric work happening here. Isn't it amazing when you're not moving very much, how intense it can start to feel? That's the beauty of Pilates. Also, like, who doesn't love working out laying down? It's like an ideal weekend, early morning or late night workout. Good, we're gonna go for 8. Yeah, we are. 7. I told you, not super complicated positions, but they're gonna deliver a fire. Last 3, and 2, last 1. Turn it into your first position, give me little pulses. In an inch and out an inch, we've got 10, 9, 8, squeeze your heels together, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's press out, zip the legs together, meet the inner thighs, bring it in. Okay, last footwork position, stay in the Pilates V, slide to the ball of the foot. So like the joint of your toes are on. Then we're gonna raise the heels up, knees are in line with the shoulders, and really squeeze those heels together. Press all the way out, zip it up, and bring it all the way in. So we're back to this stiletto shape in the foot. When you press out, it's from lengthening your knees, and the heels are gonna stay elevated. So for this one, you don't wanna drop those heels underneath the bar. Good, and make sure that there is weight on the ball of your big toe and that it hasn't gotten light and you're leaning into your pinky toe. Good, let's go for 5, and 4, for 3, and 2, last 1. Halfway in and freeze. So we're really gonna stabilize the machine. Bring your right leg up to a turned out tabletop without machine moving. Place the right foot down. Press and squeeze that thigh. Lift the left leg up. So you're gonna just go little marches. No, nothing in the carriage moves. Nothing in the pelvis moves. Remembering the importance of that stabilizing area. I know, this is crazy, right? But we're doing it. It's the end of the footwork. Let's go for 6, and 5, for 4, and 3. We got one more each way, and then you're gonna hold and pulse. And 2. Last one. Find your Pilates V. Squeeze those heels together, little pulses. All in the quads. We're gonna move into hamstrings next. Let's finish up these thighs. We're gonna do 15 little pulses. Deep breath in and out. You've got this for 10, 9, keep it up, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen out. Bring it in. Oh my gosh, I feel my face flushing. Okay, sit on up for me. We are moving on to some glute bridging, some pelvic curling. We're gonna put your headrest flat. If your hamstrings tend to cramp, you want more springs on. So you could actually probably stay with all springs, or how many you have on for footwork. If you're more advanced, let's go to 2 reds. If you need a little bit more help, you could go to 2 reds and a yellow. So the more springs you have on for this specific series, pretty much the more help it will be. So it's different than the last exercise. The less spring you have on is going to be more challenging. I'm on 2 reds, headrest flat. We're gonna hit the back of the legs. We're gonna start with some glute bridges. So for the glute bridge, you wanna find that neutral spine again. We're gonna put the arches of our feet on the center of the foot. We're parallel hips distance. I want you to point your toes and think of curling your toes over the bar. Now think of pulling the bar with your feet towards your butt. Pull it in. Press down through your palms and find the spine that we started with. Butt heavy, lower back light, ribs connected. On your exhale, without letting the machine move, so it's different than the footwork, you're gonna lift your butt up. Hold. I want you to hold here until you feel your butt and your hamstrings activate. If the carriage has moved out and you're not able to keep it pulled in, then the springs are too light. I want you to add spring on until you can really hold this position without the carriage moving. And then tap the hips down. Okay, so you're gonna exhale, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Squeeze your glutes, pull the hamstrings towards your tush, and then tap it down. When you tap your tush down, your tush should touch, but your lower back should not. What we're doing here is creating spinal stability, so the shape of your back is staying the same the whole time. You're hinging from your hips, so right at your hip creases is where you're pushing your pubic bone up to the ceiling. And then take a peek at your feet and make sure they haven't kind of turned out or rolled out. So you want your toes pointing straight on and weight on the arch of the foot as well as the outer edge of the foot. So all of these little things is really what Pilates is about. It's about creating evenness and balance in the body. And that's why sometimes not doing the most fancy move is helpful in order to pay attention to those small details. When we do a lot of the fancy exercises, it's hard to really nail the form or work on the form. So today's class is really about improving form. Good, exhale to lift, squeeze, 1, 2, 3. Inhale to lower. Now this is a Pilates glute bridge rather than a bridge you would do in yoga. So I want you to just notice if you're pushing so high up that your chest comes to your chin. This is too high for a Pilates bridge. You want your chest down. So my shoulder blades are down. I'm not gonna lift above my shoulder blades. Good, breathe out. We come up and squeeze the glutes. Breathe in, we lower down. Okay, you're gonna give me 3 more. We're here for 3. And 2. Okay, keep it up there. Really try not to let the carriage move. That's the key here. So think of those feet pulling toward your tush. Squeeze the back of your knees and pulse your hips up. As you push your hips up, that's when you're gonna squeeze your glutes tighter together. Okay, I want you to think of squeezing where the back of your leg and your butt meet, where there's that little shelf, where that's the shelf we're trying to create, right? We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, keep it up, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Set the hips down. And let's straighten the legs up if you can. I know it's kind of hard right after that. Flex the feet. Oh, I'm just gonna put them on the foot bar. Flex your feet and stretch those hamstrings out. Okay, so we're gonna move into curling, pelvic curling. This is awesome for your low back. Usually really helps work out anything that feels kind of gooky there. It's really good for flexibility of your spine. So let's go back to our position. We're parallel, hips distance, we're on the arches of the feet. Now you start in neutral, just like we did before, but then you're gonna move through imprint. So you're gonna think of your hips coming toward your face. So as my hips come towards my face, my lower back is gonna push down. Try not to miss that. So try not to move too quick with this. The slower you move with this exercise, the more of the stretch, and then more advanced you really are in it. Then continue to peel the back up, bone by bone. You're gonna stop before your chest lifts. So as high as we're gonna go. Now continue to tuck your hips towards your face and drop your rib cage down. See, when I drop my rib cage, I scoop my hips under more. So I'm trying to keep this crunch in my midsection. So when I lower down, my lower back touches, and then my butt touches, my lower back lifts, neutral. You're gonna press your lower back flat so it's grounded down. Peel your spine up like you're peeling tape off the floor. Roll up just to your rib cage. Then sink the ribs and curl your hips like you're doing a reverse ab crunch. Tighter and tighter in until the last moment. Inhale, your butt gets heavy, your lower back gets light. Exhale, draw your abdomen in. Press your lower back down, it's heavy. And then peel up bone by bone. And then articulate back down, bone by bone. So once you've got the movement down, you can pick the pace up a little bit. But remember, one of the keys here is not letting the carriage move. Oh, I love this one. This is just such a go-to. Oops, I let it move, that's okay. And we're gonna go for 3 more of these. I want you to exhale through your mouth on the way up. Relax the jaw. Inhale through the nose on the way down. Last 2. Okay, we're gonna roll up and hold. We're gonna be going for many reverse tucks. Roll the spine up. So we're gonna go from this crunch position to lengthening the abs. Crunch your abs, lengthen the abs. You're going from your pelvic curl to your glute bridge. We go imprint to neutral. When you tuck your pelvis in that imprint position, you're gonna squeeze your glutes together. We're gonna go for 10, 9, control the carriage, 8, 7, 6, keep it up guys, for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold the tuck and now control it down, bone by bone, ripple through the spine, find neutral, and release. Okay, whoa, if you can't straighten your legs, it's so hard to do it right after. And then let's bring it up, and we are moving on to some abs. How we doing? Maybe get some water if you feel like it. So, supine abs, hands and straps abs. Number one thing is if you feel it in your arms and your shoulders and your neck, go lighter, because this is about your core. So, with that being said, lighter, I would probably suggest a red. Medium, red, yellow, that's what I'm gonna use. If you need more weight, you can use a red and a blue. But honestly, I think this is better done lighter. Focus on the abs, not your arms. Headrest, up. We're gonna be using these short loops. If you just have one loop, you're using that one loop. So we're gonna lay on our back. You're gonna put your head in the headrest. Grab both of your short loops and put them in your hands. So in Pilates, typically we like to create long lines. We want to think long lines, long limbs, long lines of fascia. So instead of gripping the straps like you would with a dumbbell, you want to lengthen your fingers. So I'm going to put my 4 fingers through the loop and my thumb is free. Long fingers. You're going to draw the legs up to tabletop, and you're going to sink your spine into the mat. So we're in an imprint. Move your shoulders down by engaging your lats. So I'm not letting the straps pull the shoulder up. I'm using the muscle right here to pull the strap down. From here, keeping the back touching the floor, you're gonna exhale, lower the arms to your sides, and then inhale, we're gonna lift back up. Breathe out to lower. Breathe in to lift. Okay, so what you should feel is that the movement is coming from your upper back and your abs. So you think like push your shoulders down to lower the straps and keep your shoulders anchored to lift the straps. Legs are in tabletop, hips distance apart. And if you have a hard time connecting to your abs, I want you to close your eyes. As you lower the arms down by your sides, I want you to exhale and suck your stomach in like you're putting on a pair of pants that are way too tight, but you're gonna get them zipped like you're on a mission. Breathe out, pull your stomach in. Breathe in, lifting the arms up with control so that the arms don't just get pulled up onto your neck. So keep that active work in your lats. Okay, notice if your knees are really close to you. That's okay if you're modifying. If you want to be more advanced, I would drift them a little bit further out. You're going to feel those lower abs turn on. So connecting to the deep layer of the abs, the transverse abdominis, is really mind connection. It's focusing, it's going inwards. The rectus abdominis is the outer layer. That's the more visible one. The transverse is the deep layer. So the abs really create a safety net for the spine and many other organs in our body. And it's really helpful if you have any kind of lower back or back issues to strengthen your stomach muscles here, especially the deep layer. Okay, so as we're moving through this, we're gonna add some layers. So on the next one, I'm gonna extend my right leg to 45 degrees as my arms lower down. I want you to hold, pull your belly button in more, and then slowly return. Switching sides. Left leg extends long, arms lower down, hold. Go deeper with your connection with the core, make it shake, and then slowly bring it back in. Right leg lengthens, arms go down, exhale. Inhale, slowly return. Left leg long, arms down, exhale. Inhale, slowly return. Now let's pause on the next one. Right leg long, arms lower. And be honest with yourself. Is your back touching the floor? Is your belly pushing out or is it pulling in? Okay, if your back's up and your belly's released, I want you to lift your leg up until you're able to draw your stomach in and your back down. That's gonna be your sweet spot. And then bring it in. Let's freeze on the other side. Left leg long, arms down. Press your back ribs, your lower back, down on the floor and pull your stomach in. 2 different things. And then return. So just because your back is an imprint, that doesn't mean you're necessarily engaging your core. So think of those as one is a joint movement, which is the back pressing down, that's the tuck of the pelvis. And then the other is the muscle movement, is the stomach muscles pulling in. If you'd like to add on, we're gonna shoot both legs long, hold 1, 2, 3, and then inhale to return. You can stay with single leg if this feels like too much on your back. I really want you to try to stick the landing right here. Hold, work deeper. Slowly return. Breathe out. Breathe in. So my sweet spot's a bit above 45 degrees. I feel like if I go here, I lose the lower back. So that's not where I'm at today. This is what's feeling right to me. And you know, every day is different. There is some days my back really feels good and it likes to go, my legs like to go lower. So, you know, you gotta adjust day to day. things just aren't the same every day. So that's why listening to your body is super important with injury prevention, overall well-being. Okay, we're gonna go for 3 more. 3. Good, pull those lats down for 2. Okay, last one. For 1. Okay, we're gonna take the arms and legs straight up. So glue your legs together now. Keep your arms still and sink your rib cage and your lower back down. First, we're gonna just move the legs. Inhale to lower the legs. Exhale, as you lift the legs, press the arms down. Inhale, the arms lift, the legs lower. Exhale, legs lift, arms lower. Breathe in on the way down. Pause. Find the low belly, the low back, and then lift. Looking good, you guys. Let's do 4 more. For 4. Okay, if you need to modify, you can bend your knees. For 3, like that. And 2. Good, last one. And 1. Okay, last thing here. We're gonna bring the legs to tabletop, turn the palms to the hips. Reach through the straps. Inhale, arms come to a T. Exhale, hands to hips, pull your belly button to the floor. As the arms open, try to keep those shoulders pulling away from the blocks. Exhale, draw it in. Breathe into the ribs. Breathe out, connect the ribs. So when you're thinking of the exhalation, you're wrapping your ribs tight around your spine. Like you're safety pinning the front of your rib cage together, the 2 sides of your rib cage together. Good, give me 4 more here. For 4. We're gonna move on in just a bit to some upper back work for 3. Not that it's not working here. And 2. Good, last one. And 1. Good, and then arms up and set the feet down. Ooh, maybe do just a little arch, release the core here. Good work. Okay, let's hang those straps up. Okay, so from here, we're gonna do some reverse arms in an all-4s position. I'm gonna put my headrest flat. I'm gonna go to a blue spring. That's gonna be the medium option. Yellow or white will be your lighter option. Medium is the blue. Red is gonna be heavier. This is arm work with a single strap. So I'm headed to blue. And we're gonna bring it to all 4s. So come to kneeling. I'm gonna start with my left strap. So I'm gonna be kneeling more to the left side of the machine. So left shin is closer to the edge of the machine. Right shin's kind of in the middle of the machine. Grab on to the strap, and I'm gonna hold above the knot on the rope with the left hand. My right hand's going to be on the headrest in between the shoulder blocks. If this gets too heavy, you can go lower, more to the tip of the loop. If it's too light, choke up higher. Okay, so straight, strong arm with that left arm. Pull the shoulders down. And like I had said, starting this class, think about what is not moving, and that is still working. So everything but the left arm is not moving for this class, for this exercise. So I want you to stay lifted in your chest and your abs. Press your shins down. That's gonna help connect the lower belly. As we sweep this left arm straight up. Really get it up so it's all the way up by the waist. And then we're gonna sweep it right back down. So you're not moving really from your arm, you're moving from your upper back. If you're moving from your arm, it'd be more like a row. So I want you to keep your elbow pretty much straight and lift all the way up. Think of when you're at the top, think of trying to touch the wall behind you with this left hand, and then we sweep it back down. Okay, pull those shoulders away from your ears. So this is great posture work. And one adjustment I would make, and I'm gonna do it for myself now, is if I can't really feel the squeeze of my shoulder blade at the top, then I'm gonna make it a little lighter. So I went lower below the knot because I wasn't really able to feel the engagement. So if you're not able to feel an exercise, sometimes that might actually mean it's too heavy. Like I think our first thought is to make it harder, but maybe think, well, if I can't fire the muscle, maybe the weight is too much. And if I lighten the load, perhaps I'll be able to connect more to it. It's never gonna be about doing like the hardest version of the exercise. It's always gonna be about, do you feel it? If you feel it, then it's working for you. Good work. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more. For 2. Good, last one. For 1. And sweep it down. Okay, I like triceps lighter, so I'm gonna go into the short loop. We're gonna sweep the arm all the way back up, reach the strap behind you, really pull the shoulder away from you. Elbow stays glued in, bend the elbow, and now press straight back. So now, the left side of your upper back is engaged. It's helping keep the openness in the left side of the collarbone, but we are moving the arm now, so bending, extending from that elbow joint. We're here for 5. Look out in front of you, don't let your face fall. 4. Pull that elbow up. 3. 2. And 1. And sweep it down. Ooh, that just burns. Okay, so just face on real quick. When we do the next side, what's really important is this area. So when we do the straight arm sweeps, you wanna make sure your shoulder's not rounding in. Pull it off the chest. When we do the tricep kickback, same thing. That area, pull it back. Okay, let's do it. So now you're gonna kneel over to the right. I'm gonna start on the knot, and remember, if you need it lighter, you start to move the hand lower down the rope. You need it heavier, hold up higher. Left hand in between the blocks, press your shins down, lift your ribs, your abs. Pull your shoulders down. Then I'm gonna sweep this right arm straight up and sweep it back down. We're gonna inhale, pull up. Try to hold at the top, and then exhale, lower down. Okay, so if you were to be going more like this, and the rope is getting a little like slack in it, you're definitely losing the exercise, or you're using way too much momentum. Never should there be slack in the rope. Good, and then perhaps if you can't feel that squeeze in your upper back, maybe go lighter, hold lower, or try to keep the arm up right here by your waist for longer until you feel the back fire. Remember to get the arm all the way up by your side. So we want it up by the side and not by the thigh. All the way by the side of the torso. Good. This one is so good for posture. So that's why I gave you that little visual before we did the second side. Make sure those shoulders are not rounding towards each other in the chest. They're spreading away from each other. Okay, you're gonna give me 3 more for 3. And 2. Good work. And 1. Okay, you can stay here or you can go a little bit lighter. We're doing the tricep exercise. So I'm gonna go to the short loop. That's my preference. Shoulders are down, neck is long, and it's not falling. So make sure the back of your head is lifted. Sweep that right arm up, get the elbow high, open up through that right collarbone. Then we're gonna bend and extend for triceps. Rather than just pressing up with the right palm, I want you to reach back through the fingertips when the arm is straight, like you're trying to touch the foot bar. That's gonna help move your right shoulder further away from the right side of the neck. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and release. Okay, hang that strap up, and then let's turn to face each other. So we're gonna go sideways, and it's fine whatever side you do, we're gonna be doing both sides. So I'm gonna stay on the blue. To modify, to go lighter, you're gonna go to a yellow. To make it more advanced, you can go to a red. So blue is where I'm gonna hang. You can also sit crisscross applesauce. So if you're all levels, you're more beginner, take a seat and cross your legs, because the kneeling stuff is gonna be unstable. So you wanna make sure you feel comfortable on the reformer that's moving before you get into that. So a more advanced option is to kneel. And I'm gonna start with the long strap, if you have, in the outside hand. So we'll use outside hand instead of left or right for this. Pull the elbow onto the body, open the chest, and then you're gonna pull that forearm towards the foot bar, and then wrists back in line with elbow. Good, so I'm opening up through the collarbone. This is not what you want, because you're gonna reinforce this kind of bad rounded shoulder, right? So open up through the shoulder. If you're unsure what you look like, record yourself. It's a really good way. If you have a mirror, get in front of the mirror. Okay, we do 3 more, it's not too many. For 3. And 2. Okay, last one. And 1. Okay, I'm gonna go into the short loop for my next one. Option to come up high kneeling. So this is where balance comes into play. Knees, hips distance, belly button up, make a circle with your arms. Bring your hands right to the center of your body, and you're gonna turn your chest rather than move your arms. Hips are gonna point straight forward, and we're gonna turn the chest. Now I'm gonna show you what is using the arms instead of chest. That would be this, right? That's fine, you're not gonna get hurt, but that's what we're trying to use. We're trying to twist our spine. So you want to turn your back. So I'm turning my upper back, and this is gonna work our core and our back muscles. Remember, you can be seated crisscross applesauce or sitting on your heels. Push your shoulders down. If you need to make it harder, you're gonna move towards the foot bar. This is gonna make it heavier. Breathe out and rotate. Breathe in and square off. So as I turn towards the foot bar, the hip that's away from the foot bar, we don't want it to move with us. So I'm gonna keep this hip still as I rotate through my chest. Okay, let's go for 6 more. For 6. And 5. For 4. And 3. For 2. Okay, let's hold the twist and pulse. Hold the twist, hands right at the center of the chest, and turn your chest more. Get your chest to go further rather than the hands. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, tall spine, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Slowly release. Okay, I'm gonna get close to the blocks again, and then I'm gonna come lower since I'm on a blue. So sit down wherever you're at. Hold the long loop with your inside hand, palm to your cheek. Reach your right arm towards the foot bar. First, you're gonna reach straight up, and then you're gonna take a side bend. And then restack your spine and bend your elbow. Palm in, elbow narrow, reach straight up. Lock the shoulder down, and then side bend. Opening up through the side body. Restack your spine, bend your elbow. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, using your obliques to stretch, and then to lift. Then the elbow return. Big breath in, grow tall. Deep breath out, lean into it. Restack the spine. Then the elbow, last 2. Stretch. Side bend. Restack. And bend. Push those shoulders down. 1 more. Big breath in. Side bend. Restack. And bend it in. Good work. Okay, so let's simply turn around. If you're able, move the camera so you can still see me. Otherwise, I will verbally cue you. So remember, you can be sitting crisscross applesauce to modify. Otherwise, we're going to be kneeling on our knees. And you're gonna take the long loop, the bigger strap, and the outside arm, the arm closer to the foot bar. Glue your elbow to your side, strong wrist, and then pull the forearm to the foot bar, and then bring the forearm back in line with your elbow. This is your shoulder rotation exercise. You're also seeing this from a different angle, which is good. So watch my shoulder blade. That is mobilizing, that is moving to move the strap. If you need this harder, you can move towards the foot bar. You can hold closer to the knot on the rope. You could come up to kneeling. Okay, last one for 1. Okay, we're gonna go for the smaller loop. So we've got the short loop. Both hands are gonna wrap around it. I'm gonna come up to kneeling and move closer to the foot bar because I like it a little heavier. Make a big circle with your arms. Hug a tree. Tuck your pelvis, lift your abs. Now turn your chest and then come back to center. So I'm gonna show you this, which is good to see. See this hip that's near the shoulder blocks? As you twist, you don't want that hip to move with you. So I'll show you. We don't want the pelvis to turn and the feet to move. So your shins are pressed down. They are your stability. Knees ground down, crown of the head lifts up. Okay, we're exhale, rotating, and inhale, squaring off. Good. Push your back muscles down. Let them melt away from your neck. No tension. So when I'm in the twist, my hands shouldn't be beyond the center of my chest. The fist should be right at the center of the chest. For 5, and 4. For 3, we're gonna pulse in 2. Okay, hold the pulse on 1. And then just give me little turns. Turn from here, from your back, not your arms. Twist further and further for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Rotational strength. So that one's killer and really good for you if you do golf or tennis. We want to be strong in those rotational muscles. So I'm going to bring it back down and come closer to my shoulder blocks. You can sit on your heels or crisscross applesauce. We're going to hold the longer loop to make it lighter and reach the outside arm towards the foot bar. So you're going to have a narrow inside arm, palm in, elbow forward. Reach straight up. Here's a good visual. Make sure your shoulder doesn't lift. Pull your shoulder down. Then side bend from the torso. Then restack. Bend the elbow. Push the shoulders down. Reach up. Side bend. Stretching your side body. Restack. Bend the elbow. Push your shoulders down actively. Use these back muscles to keep them from raising up. Straighten the arm. Side bend, restack, and bend. Good, big breath in, grow tall. Deep breath out, lock the abs in. Control the restacking, bend the elbow. Good, 2 more. Big breath in, side bend, restack, and bend. Last one, stretch up, side bend, restack, and bend. Amazing. Okay, so we're gonna be rear facing now and kneeling. I'm gonna continue on my blue spring. That just seems to be a good fit for me today. To make this next exercise lighter, to modify, yellow or a white. To make it harder, you can go to a red. This exercise is about the core. So if it feels really shoulder and necky, you know, you wanna go lighter. It's about your abs. Kind of like a cat-cow is what we're gonna do in the spine. So knees against the blocks, this is your reverse knee stretch. Hands on the frame. Make sure your thumbs are out of the way. So on my reformer, they're not gonna clip my thumbs off, but you wanna make sure not to wrap the thumbs to the inside. It needs to be kind of to the outside. To advance this and make the tension heavier, you bring the arms out. So I'm gonna go about here. You could go further out if you need to. You're gonna find your sweet spot. So the first move, we're gonna pull the machine out so my hands are over or under my shoulders. Now I'm not gonna move my arms, I'm gonna move my legs. Pull your knees to you and round your back. Lift your abs and then flat back. Knees are gonna come toward your chest. You're gonna C-curve. Tuck your pelvis and push your mid back to the ceiling. And then inhale to flatten your back. Breathe out. Knees come to you. Keep your shoulders over your wrist. Your back is in a C shape. As the knees move away from you, your back is gonna be flat like a board. Knees draw in. You're tucking your pelvis under and pushing out of the reformer to lift and spread between those shoulder blades. Suck your abs in here and then slowly release. If you're like, that's too easy, you can walk the hands out to quickly make it a little harder. Breathe out. Knees in. Try to lift the mid back. Breathe in and flatten the spine. Exhale, curl the spine. Inhale, flatten the spine. Okay, breathe out and round. Rib cage, belly button lifts. Breathe in and lower. So it's not just about the knees moving in and out like that. Make sure your back is moving and your abs are contracting. Good work. Exhale, crunch your core, hips to ribs. Inhale, lengthen the core. Keep the abs tight though. Good. Exhale, scoop out the core. Inhale to flatten. Okay, you're gonna need 4 more. And 3. And 2. And final one coming up. Pull those knees in. You're gonna pulse it. So you're rounded, little pulls in. Now I want you to think the pull and the pulse is from your belly button tightening deeper and deeper. So every pulse, suck your abs in deeper. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Tuck those hips under. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Woo! Give your wrists a shake. There's some kind of like deep internal heat that is created when you do Pilates core. Look how red I am. So we're gonna do a Pilates pull-up now. We're to the arms, to the upper back. Again, blue's perfect for me. Red's gonna be heavier. Blue's gonna be medium. Yellow's gonna be lighter. Your goal is to not let your shoulders be here. If this is the form you have, then it's too heavy. So just, be easier on yourself. It doesn't have to be super heavy to be effective. So knees against the blocks. I'm kind of sitting in like in a child's pose. Your hips are gonna come to a little bit of a hover. You're gonna walk your hands out. We're grabbing the risers, the poles on the back of the machine, palms in. Drop your chest so it's neutral with your butt. Pull your abdominals in. Now let your shoulders lift up. You're gonna feel a little stretch when you do that. That kind of feels nice for a second. Now retract your shoulders so your arm pulls into the socket. That's gonna stay as is. Your elbows are rotating to point straight down, biceps up to the sky. Then bend the elbows and pull yourself all the way to the back of the machine. Squeeze your back, open your chest, and push your chest forward. Think a little bit like swan or cobra. Inhale, straighten the arms without your shoulders lifting. Exhale, pull from your back muscles sliding down. Push your sternum through the risers. Inhale, straighten. Breathe out, pull the back muscles down. See if you can squeeze the machine shut here. Hold for a beat. That's the true strength, is when you can hold it in the most challenging part of the exercise with good form. Looking good, guys. Tummy's in and up. Okay, and like I said when we started, but just a reminder, if you're feeling this like crazy in your neck or your shoulders and not in a good way, then drop the weight down. If you get to a place when you're at the back of the machine and you're here and you can't squeeze your back muscles together, you're really losing the idea, the whole point of the exercise. So try drop the springs for me, you'll get more out of it. Okay, we got 5 more. For 5. And 4. for 3, and 2. Okay, last one. Hold the machine shut, isometric hold, 10 seconds. Roll the shoulders off your chest, pull the carriage all the way home in the back. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, shaking like crazy. 1, straighten your arms and bring it back. Wow. Are you guys sweating? Isn't that crazy? You can like sweat without really doing cardio or anything. I love it. Woo! I'm starting to feel worked out. So let's come into a little bit of side lying booty. So it is time for your block or your pillow, whatever you grabbed today to support your head. If you don't have anything, you could use a towel or pop your headrest up. I'm gonna go flat headrest. I've got my block. Blue is perfect for me. I'm gonna stay on the blue because we're gonna do a lot of straight leg stuff. You could go to red to make it harder. You could also go to yellow to make it easier. So kind of like the other exercises we've had. Yellow, light, blue, medium, red, heavy. So I'm gonna start laying facing you. So you're on your side. You're gonna face me, I'm gonna face you. So the thing about this exercise is your spine again. I want you to make sure your butt is back. So feel behind you with your top arm and slide your hips like an inch from the back. You're not hanging off of it, you're definitely on it, but I want your hips behind your chest. Now, we're gonna put the top strap, the strap in front of your face, the big loop, on your top foot. Okay, just rest your legs for a second. Let's talk about the spine. So your bottom ribs are lifted. There should be space here. That is your oblique drawing in and up. Our abs are on. And I want you to make distance between your hips and your ribs. So we have an arch. That's neutral spine. We talked about that at the beginning of the class. So now we're on our side. So I know it's like a little disorienting. It's not the same as being on your back. But it's the same spinal position. We want the arch in the lower back. Now draw the leg with the strap up to tabletop. Keep the arch in your lower back and the lift of your ribs as we move. You're gonna press the leg straight towards the machine, or the foot bar, and then bend the knee back to 90. Exhale, we're gonna press straight out. Hold right here, squeeze your glute. Inhale to bend. So as I'm moving this leg, there is no movement in my spine. That is your goal. Okay. If it feels a little light, but you're questioning if you want to make it heavier, probably stay here. It feels light for me right now too, but I know this series and I think it's going to deliver. Good. So I'm on a blue, just FYI. As we move through this position, knee and foot line up. So make sure your heel doesn't come towards your butt. And then push straight out. Inhale to bend. Exhale to press. Leg is at hip height, not lower. If it's lower down here, it's not going to be as much work. And of course, we want everything we can get out of this. Looking good, guys. We're going to do 5 more. For 5. The non-moving parts, how much are they working? The core, the bottom leg should be pushed down. That's helping create stability. So as you move your top leg, make sure this bottom leg isn't kind of moving around like that. It should be rooted and really still. Last 2. Okay, leg is gonna stay straight. Keep the distance between your ribs and your hips as you sweep your leg forward. You're going to stop before you feel the pelvis getting pulled into a tuck. So there's no movement in that pelvis, and then you're going to sweep the leg back. Inhale, the leg comes straight forward. And then exhale to sweep back. Now maybe this is small on you and doesn't look like mine. Maybe it's right here. That is not wrong. What would be wrong is to move the hips, or incorrect. I'm not like giving you an F or anything. I'm just saying if we want to get better at this, we want to try to do it right. So the reason I'm able to bring my leg here is 1, I've practiced this a lot, and 2, there's a hamstring flexibility component. So if your hamstrings are tight, probably won't be doable to bring it all the way here. No problem. That's totally fine. So just so you know, if it doesn't look exactly like mine, it doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay, so when you sweep the leg back, that's when I want you to squeeze where the back of your thigh and your butt meet. Right here. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then sweep it forward. I love this one. I just feel it. Good work. We're going to go for 5 more. We've got 5. If you feel like you're able to do a ton more reps in the time I'm giving you, then you're probably moving a little too quick. So slow down your pace, and it's going to probably amaze you how much intensity there is with moving slow. Okay, we got 2 more. Okay, last one. We're going to sweep the leg back, squeeze, sweep the leg slightly in front of your foot bar, and then we're going to draw small circles, staying parallel, lifting above hip height as we circle, and trying not to move the upper body. Push the supporting outer thigh into the ground to create that stability. Good work. We got 5 more in this direction for 5. And 4. For 3. I know these little ones are evil too. And 1. Yep, there is a reverse on this. We take those circles the other way. Good. You got 10 more. You're almost there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're going to pulse 3, 2, and 1. Keep the leg up at the diagonal. Give me little lifts for 15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 10, 9, 8, 7. I know. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, good work, booty. Okay, take that strap off, and we're simply gonna switch sides. So you're gonna see the back of me, and that is not a bad thing. I think it's actually very valuable to see different sides of this exercise. So I'm gonna lay on my other side. You can move the camera around to see me, or you can just listen, I'll cue it. So we're gonna slide the hips back. So now you can see it from this angle. So you make sure your butt is here and we're not tucked in your lower back. We got that arch. Take the top strap, the one in front of your face, put it on your top foot. Bring your leg up to a 90-degree angle. Toes and knee point forward, and we're lifted through the bottom rib. So pull your ribs up. There's a tunnel here. There's an arch here. Your butt is going back. Your lower back's moving into your body. And then we're gonna push, oops, I took the strap off. Okay, we're gonna push the leg straight towards the foot bar, and this is where you're gonna hold and squeeze your butt. This is all you. You have to do that. The machine can't do that for you. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, press. Hold. 1, 2, 3, squeeze your butt. Okay, the strap is offering you the resistance on the way out, and then you have to control it on the way in so it doesn't happen like this. See how I talked about the rope going slack? If you're seeing that happening, then when you bend the knee in, you have to move at a slower pace so that doesn't happen. If you're feeling unstable here, your top hand can push down into your shoulder block in front of you or into the carriage in front of you to add a little bit more comfort and stability. Okay, so I already can feel this glute a lot more, and if you're feeling that and wondering why, you're now realizing how much the bottom leg, the resting leg, the not moving leg, actually works during this exercise. So the more you're pushing your bottom thigh, the leg resting, the outside of it down, the more we're hitting that outer hip, even when it's in this so-called resting position. Good, you're gonna give me 3 more for 3. And 2. Good, last one. Keeping the legs straight, Okay, so watch my lower back here. When I bring my leg forward, I'm not gonna let my pelvis get pulled forward. And then I'm gonna sweep it back in line with the hips. So I'm gonna show you what not to do. When the leg comes forward, I'm moving my back. See how this rounded? So we don't want that. We want this to stay in that arched position, even if that limits your range of motion. Okay, as you sweep the leg back, you're squeezing at the base of your seat, which is right here, where the back of your leg and your butt touch. That's where I want you to squeeze. Inhale, sweep it forward, stabilize the pelvis. Exhale, sweep back and squeeze like you've got a pencil right here. Good work, keep it up. We've got 5 more for 5. And 4. Good, just checking the form, gotta arch that back. For 3, it gets harder to do that as we go through the series. And 2. Good, last one. We've got 1. Okay, you're gonna sweep the leg right in front of the foot bar. We're staying at hip height. Now you're gonna go for those little circles. Stay parallel, so your toes point at the wall in front of you. Your outer hip lifts towards the ceiling as you circle. Try to relax where you can. So there's a difference between holding onto something muscularly or like gripping and creating a lot of tension. So if you've got any tension in your body, just breathe it out. Good, we got 5 more. We reversed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it in the other direction. Little circles. Try not to let the leg drop down here. I know it's like you want to, but keep it up. We're almost done with this series. Let's keep that arch in that lower back. Good quality circles. We've got 7. And then we pull 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Close your eyes. Let's focus. 1. Keep the leg up and just pulse for me. Little lifts. Squeeze into that outer hip. Let's take it home. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. And let it go. Honestly, there's nothing like that. Okay, we haven't done a single stretch in class yet, so let's take a well-deserved one. We're gonna do a figure 4 stretch. So lay on your back, cross. I'm gonna do the one I haven't just used, so I'm gonna do left ankle over right for our figure 4 stretch. And then you can stay like this. If you need more, wrap your hands around the right leg or the leg that's in tabletop, and just gently hold that shape. How are we doing? It's a big workout. You're doing good. You're doing good. Okay, switch sides. Whew, the one I just did is so tight. And then gently bring it in. What'd you think of the blue spring? Like it started light, but then, you know, it felt like fire at the end there. Okay, you guys, we are gonna hit some planks. So I'm gonna be doing these in a modified position. It does not mean they are easy. So I'm gonna go for a blue spring, which seems to be what I liked for this class today. To make it harder, you can use a yellow. Just be careful about your shoulders and your elbow joints to make it more supportive. So did I say easier? To make it harder, go to a yellow, just to clarify. I'm gonna be on blue. If you want more support, so you're more beginner, go to a red or a red and a yellow. So for this exercise, more spring is easier. It's gonna be more supportive. And that's what's confusing about the reformer. Not always having more spring is harder. So We are going to start. Bring your feet, flex against the shoulder block. I'm gonna take my hands a little bit wider than my shoulders, and then I'm going to come into a modified plank by leaning my pelvis into the foot bar. So my butt's not back here, I'm gonna lean it forward. So if you check my form, my knees to my head are in a line. It's a diagonal line, but it's a line. Take a little bend in your elbows and wrap your elbows towards your knees. On your inhale, you're gonna send the carriage out from the arms. So my spine stays the same, and then I'm gonna push my shoulders down and exhale, bring that carriage back home. Down, stretch. Inhale, the carriage moves away from the stopper. When I'm here, I'm really careful about my shoulders. Push them down and try not to pop your elbow joint. So a little bend in the elbow, exhale to pull it home. If you're like, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel good in my low back, add spring on. So if you're on a blue, you could add a yellow, you could go to a red. If you would like to make it harder, move a lot slower, especially when you come all the way out here. So I'm in my really far extended plank. Suck your abs in. See how slow you can bring that machine back home. Good. Inhale, we send that carriage out. I want you to lock your shoulders, your ribs down and into the spine. And then really slowly, we return. I'm shaking. Big breath in. And deep breath out. Okay, you're almost there. We're gonna do 5 more. Legs and straps are coming for you. It's about to be a real nice end to class. So if you're losing momentum or mojo, just stick with me. We're almost there. And we're here for 4. Let's make that breath really audible. Inhale through the nose. You're all the way out. Abs strut in, exhale, bring it home. Nicely done. Last 2. Okay, you guys, you're gonna hold your version of an extended plank. Otherwise, you can hold right here in your modified plank. So right here, or you can make it harder by sending that carriage out. Push your shoulders down, look forward. Lock those abs in. You've got a 20-second hold, and then we are gonna cool it down. Okay, all you got, find your best form of class, squeeze into it. Let's count it down. We got 10, 9, hang on, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly return and bring it all the way in. Oh my goodness, you guys. I hope that you feel as shaky as me in a good way. So it is that time. We are gonna do legs and straps. Headrest up. If you like it down, totally fine. I feel like I'm kind of tired now, so I feel like I'm awkwardly trying to adjust this. I'm gonna do 2 reds. That's typically the heavier setting. You could do a red and a blue. If you're looking for something stretchier feeling, do the lighter one, the red and the blue. I like 2 reds, and that's just my preference. And like I said, the more you do this class, or the more you get used to the reformer, you're gonna find what you like, and it will be just easier to pick. So don't be afraid to test out a different spring setting than you're used to. Maybe you'll be like, oh, I like that for like a stretchier day. So let's lay down on the back. Make sure your straps are there for you. Reach for them. Feet are on the foot bar. You got the big loops. Send the carriage out. Put your right foot in the right big loop. The left foot in the left big loop. Okay, already giving yourself a round of applause because you did the hard stuff. This definitely works your inner thighs a little bit, but it's gonna feel really good. We've got our neutral spine, which we know and love. Your butt's gonna stay completely planted as we go into our leg circles. Going down, separate, lift and connect. Down, separate, lift and connect. So we're gonna finish class with one last thing to think about, and it's the first thing we started with. What's going on in your spine? Remember how we started with the footwork and our feet were on the foot bar, and it's very easy, or most likely you'd be thinking about what your legs are doing. Well, legs and straps, you're typically thinking about your legs, right? So I want you to think about your spine. Truly, that's the essence of legs and straps, is creating spinal stability. So we've got the neutral, which is where your butt is heavy, your lower back is lighter, and your ribs are down. When you're moving your legs, whatever position you move them in legs and straps, you don't want your back to be doing like this, like flying around on the carriage. You want it to be in kind of like a cast. It's not going anywhere. I'm gonna leave you with that. We did a lot. I gave you tons of cues. I hope you learned a bunch in class today. But the next couple of minutes of legs and straps, we're just gonna kind of breathe. I'll give you different variations, but I'm not gonna over cue it, so you can also let your mind relax. Because I know Pilates, it's not just physical, it's very mental, it's very precise. At the top of this one, we're gonna reverse. We're gonna open, circle down and together and lift. Breathing in and out. Okay, give me 4 more for 4. And 3. For 2. Last one. Okay, we're gonna come to 45 degrees. Pilates V, heels together, toes and knees apart. We'll go for frog. Bend the knees apart, press out, bring the legs together. So the knees go apart, the heels stay connected, and then you press out, you squeeze it all together at 45 degrees. So you're staying at the same height. Thinking about that spine as we move, that it hasn't and won't change shape. Give me 3 more for 3. And 2. Good, last one. And 1. Okay, you guys, let's take it into a straddle stretch. So legs are gonna go to the sky, butt's heavy. You're gonna open those legs nice and wide. You can hold the straps for a little bit of support. If it feels like it's pulling too much, narrow the V or put a little bend to the legs. And that will hopefully alleviate that. Good, and then we're gonna go into butterfly. So bottoms of the feet together. You can keep the legs lifted or you can drop the legs down towards the springs. And so just feeling the whole entire body relax a little bit, starting to cool off. And letting your mind take a little break. Good, and then we're gonna lift the legs up, straighten them towards the ceiling, keeping your butt down. You can hold the straps and pull down, flex the feet, and this is the back of the legs, those hamstrings. Good, and then bend your knees, take the straps off, slowly bring the carriage to a close, hang the straps up, and bring it all the way up. Awesome work, you guys. I'm so happy that you joined me for my favorite Pilates Reformer class. These are just some of my favorite exercises that I really enjoy doing on a regular basis and continue to keep that strength and get stronger in these areas. So if you love this class, please press subscribe. It's completely free. I have tons of free workout videos here on YouTube, all different kinds of stuff. I do YouTube Pilates mat classes, YouTube Reformer classes, and I also dabble in like mini trampoline and just other modalities. If you like to have a lot of variety, this is a great fitness channel for you. I also have a membership that has additional videos, so I release extra videos there, and that has a big library as well. So you can join that below. It is $9.99 a month for the membership. And then I would additionally love to hear from you in the comments. So I love to hear feedback. I love to hear if you learned anything or liked anything in particular in this class, or if anything was confusing. Please, I do like the feedback. So guys, my name's Lindsay. This is Pilates on Demand. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.